Chris and Brian here from Resolve Technology. And today we're just going to quickly talk about the difference between your browser's cache and the browser's cookies. What's the difference between those two? At a basic level, the cache stores various files locally on your machine. So you don't have to keep re-downloading them from the internet. Things like JPEG files, these graphic files, MAU files, CSS, which is a type of web language. So all these things that are basically on the web page get downloaded to your computer, get stored there temporarily until you either empty the cache in the browser or over time the browser empties it for you after it gets to a certain storage level. Usually you can actually set that in the browser if you want to get granular with that. So that's the cache part. The cookie part is the part that stores specific information for the website, like things that you've done, right? Used for tracking purposes and gets reported back to the servers of the website that you visit. Does that sound like a good explanation, Chris? Do you have anything
Yeah.
to add to that?
Yeah, think of cookies as it's something that's for trackers on sites you visit. I found this little link here. They got a little graph, a diagram. So cache it's for long run purposes to speed up your browser when you revisit the site. It's for long-term use. Cookies is employed to store maybe your choices on a website and other tracking related information. It's stored both on the server and on the client. The cookies is on both ends of the spectrum there. You got the server that's saving that. They could be set to expire automatically. And then cache, you'd have to manually go get rid of that. However, as Brian mentioned, there is ways where like when you close the browser, it clears out your cache.
Yeah,
Then,
the thing I look at cookies as like it's more of like a marketing thing, like so that marketers, and that's why a lot of times you go to websites, right? Is they can track your preferences and things and see which page you go to more. You may go to one page more than the other page. The home page versus the services page, right? Well, they track that. Yeah, go ahead.
you can also open the Chrome or Edge web dev tools. What is it, F12? And you go over to network and you just reload a page you're on. And you might see a bunch of Google trackers, JavaScript files, pulling from the site, the status code. So for example, if a firewall blocks up, you might see error 403 or 404 error because the server's down. But you might see some of that in here. But under the hood, like you can see, this is the website's generally just HTML, JavaScript, and as Brian alluded to, CSS, which just, as I like to call it, it puts lipstick on the pig. That's the best term I got for what CSS is. It's like a facelift, but it pretties things up. So it does, because back in the old days, you just had a static HTML page. It looked like a text file, just a bunch of text. When it was used by researchers and sending research to and from each other. And there was many different variants of web pages before we're in this age of, what is it? Blogging and what do they call it? Word, where you just got template sites with animations that does the JavaScript for you. But yeah, another thing I'd like to mention though with cache is it's very unpredictable in my opinion. You can clear cache and still run into some kind of underlying issue that might be cache related still, especially when you start playing around with multiple profiles. I've noticed that I run into caching issues. We manage, I don't know what, 10 or so Microsoft 365 tenants. I had a profile at one point for each one. So I'd go into their Edge profile, but I got sick of clearing the cache and cookies often, or unable to open Outlook web access, getting a status error, things of that nature that I never found an explanation for, but it pointed to cache.
All right, all useful information. Thanks for showing us that what goes on behind the scenes with all that. And remember, it does save some of your bandwidth because you're not you're not going out to the internet each time. So it is useful to have the cache, but you can run into problems, and from time to time you have to clear it if you start to see site errors and things like that. But we'll end it there. Thanks a lot, Chris.
All right, have a good one.
Take care.